Hello! Welcome to Two Gays and a Digimon podcast. Working title.
That's the working title?
That's the working title.
I want everyone to know that he kept that from me. He did not tell me.
I
was like, do we have a title? And he was like, no, we don't need one. And I was like, okay. And he's like, don't worry, I'll handle it. I'll handle the intro.
Yeah, I'm handling it.
You are.
Handlemon.
Handle.
So we probably should start with, for the uneducated, who are we?
Yes, who are we? Are we human or are we dancer?
Are we Dancermon?
Or are we Digimon?
Are we Digimon?
We're not. We're not.
We could be. That's like a plot waiting to happen.
That would be a plot twist.
Yeah.
We get like 3 seasons into this podcast. By the way, I'm actually Palmon. But anyway,
Palmon.
So who are we?
Do you want to go first?
Sure. I'm Michael. I'm 25. He, him pronouns. I like long walks on the beach, fried chicken, and jujube.
I'm glad that we have a Digimon / Drag Race crossover podcast. On Digimon should have won season 1. Just saying.
I think it was only Mons to lose.
Who am I?
Adam.
But do I introduce myself as Adam? I never do.
I kind of already,
Okay, I'm Adam. I also am Gigantismalls. I use any pronouns when spoken with respect. And I'm a really big, lifelong Digimon fan.
Yes.
Legitimately, I'm very tall.
Oh yeah, and you are very tall. We should also probably mention that we're a couple.
Yes, that was my next point.
Okay.
Thank you.
And to juxtapose.
I have a list.
Okay.
I have a structured format for our podcast.
Okay, should I mention that
I should have shared it with you before I did this.
Yeah.
We're learning, we're growing, we're developing.
We are. Well, I just turned 25, which means my brain is actually done developing, but...
I turned 30, which we didn't have to say that loud because
you said it.
I know.
I didn't say shit.
That's fine. We're already 2 minutes into this podcast and we've barely talked about Digimon. So let's go over what Digimon is. According to the Wikipedia article Digimon is short for Digital Monsters, and it is a Japanese media franchise encompassing virtual pet toys, anime, manga, video games, films, and a trading card game. The franchise focuses on the eponymous creatures who inhabit a digital world, a parallel universe originated from Earth's various communication network. The franchise was created in 1997 as a series of virtual pets, intended as the masculine counterpart to Tamagotchi. The creatures were first designed to look cute and iconic even on the device's small screens. Later developments had them created with a harder edge style influenced by American comics. The franchise gained the momentum with its first anime incarnation, Digimon Adventure, and an early video game, Digimon World, both released in 1999. Several anime series and films based on them have been released, and the video game series has expanded into genres such as role-playing, racing, fighting, and MMOs. So that's the long and the short of it. Long and short, man.
Yes. And so you're a lifelong fan.
I am a lifelong Digimon fan. I was born in the Digimon, molded by it. When I first saw Patamon, it was nothing to me but amazing.
And I, on the other hand, had never watched the show, had known about it, but, I grew up as a kid. I didn't watch a ton of anime. I watched, Pokemon, which I know is, the big evil P word in the Digimon community,
We
which I understand.
talk about that. At some point.
We should talk about, the Digimon versus
Pokemon.
Rivalry.
Because I also love Pokemon. I'm an equal opportunity kind of gal.
Yeah, but I think you would argue that, Pokemon's, the fact that Pokemon is,
yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, okay. So point being, I had never watched Digimon. I didn't really know anything about it other than that it was, a cartoon that I did not watch. And then we started dating, and you were really into it. So over the past, couple of months, 4 or 5 months.
It's been almost a year since we started Digimon Adventure, and we just finished it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, but we had a big gap in the middle. We watched maybe 20 episodes, and then for various reasons we didn't pick it back up for a while, and then we just powered through the last 35 episodes or so in the span of a month or two.
Yeah.
So it's all new to me. I've watched season 1. Everything else I have not watched. I don't know anything going forward.
So we want to talk about the first season of Digimon in this episode.
Yes.
I feel like normally in all the Digimon podcasts I listen to, they start with Digimon Adventure in 1999, the original series, and go episode by episode and talk about it, or they do chunks of episodes, and that's multiple episodes of their podcast. We just finished Digimon Adventure, and we are not going back to the beginning to rewatch it at this juncture.
Yeah.
Because it would be my 15th time watching it.
Yeah, and I would be watching it for a second time, having not watched any of the other seasons, which I feel like would also
Yeah,
make
and
me
we want
resent it.
to differentiate ourselves from our peers. So
Yeah, we have to stand out. We're gay. We need attention.
we need attention. Attention, man.
So we're going to review the whole first season in this episode, and then after that, we're going to do one episode at a time, couple episodes at a time. What do we
Yeah,
decide?
I think, we'll decide. We'll cross that bridge, man, when we come to it.
That Bridgemon?
Yeah.
Are you going to... I'm looking forward to all of these puns.
Thank you. They're all terrible, but I feel like that's
think they're
in
wonderful.
brand with Digimon Adventure.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so Digimon Adventure, known as Digimon Digital Monsters in English-speaking territories, is a 1999 Japanese anime television series produced by Toei Animation in cooperation with Wiz, Bandai, and Fuji Television. It is the first anime series in the Digimon media franchise based on the digital monster Virtual Pet released in 1997. The plot is, on August 1st, 1999, 7 children are transported into the digital world by Digivices that appeared before them at summer camp, where they befriend several Digimon, digital monsters. The kids' Digivices allow their Digimon partners to digivolve into stronger forms and combat enemies. As the kids explore to find a way home, they learn they are Digidestined children chosen to save the digital world. During their adventure, the Digidestined are hunted by a demonic Digimon named Devimon, and that is the first arc of the show. So with that being said, we should probably start with the first arc.
Yeah.
Because I'm so clever. I divided everything up into arcs. Oh, I probably should have talked about development. We'll talk about that now. In 1999, a short film based on the virtual pets called Digimon Adventure was released. The Digidestined's character designs were created by Katsuyoshi Nakasuru. The staff had decided to name the characters based on kanji that related to luck. For the original Japanese version of Digimon Adventure, all music was composed by Takanori Arisawa. In addition to composing original music for Digimon Adventure, Arisawa had also recycled and made remix versions of several music tracks from Sailor Moon, Sailor Stars. Upon its initial release, the series found a rather large success in the United States. When it was first released in North America, the series was seen as an attempt to imitate the success of Nintendo's Pokemon franchise. Entertainment Weekly magazine named Digimon as the worst Pokemon / Netflix... Not Netflix. Entertainment Weekly magazine named Digimon as the worst Pokemon / net crossbreeding attempt in 2000. However, we'll talk about this more when we talk about... I'm doing great, babe. We'll talk about the kind of dynamic between Pokemon and Digimon as we go on. Maybe in a very special episode.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to our plot synopsis.
Yeah. So the first arc is basically them kind of entering the Digiworld.
Digiworld.
I'm going to do that so many times, and I apologize in advance. And
let's start with the first episode. The first episode, directed by Hiroyuki Kakudo, aired in Japan on March 7th, 1999, and August 14th, 1999 in America, which is pretty interesting because that's like right around the time that the story takes place.
Yeah.
The first episode is called, in the English version, And So It Begins.
Yeah, that makes sense.
By the way, I should have mentioned that we did watch the English version, which is on Hulu.
Yeah, we watched the dub.
Because that's what I'm nostalgic for. I don't really think there are a lot of changes in between the sub and dub version. Mm-hmm. Maybe in a later episode we'll talk about like some of the differences between sub and dubs of Digimon. Michael, would you like to know what the Japanese title of this episode is called?
Sure.
Adrift? The Island of Adventure.
I like that. That's more dramatic.
That's
more like grand.
All of the Japanese titles are way more grand. So, the episode plot of the plot of this episode, I'm gonna have to do it. This is gonna be a big problem for editing, Adam. The plot of this episode is that at summer camp, Tai, Matt, Sora, Izzy, Mimi, Joe, and TK are each given a Digivice and are swept off into the digital world, where they are found by 7 Digimon.
Yeah.
Koromon, Sunamon, Yokomon, Modimon, Tanamon, Bukamon, and Tokomon. When they are attacked by Kawagamon, the Digimon digivolve into their rookie forms, which are the forms we see them most often in the series.
Yeah.
Rookie forms, very cute.
Very cute, kind of like the baseline.
Mm-hmm. And in the very first episode, we start to see that Digimon is really about the relationships between the humans and each other. Hi, this is Editing Adam. I meant to say that it is between the humans, their Digimon, and each other.
Yeah.
their relationships with each other.
And how they kind of like their personalities complement each other. And
Yeah. So the next episode is called The Birth of Greymon, where we start on the trend of each episode. One of the kids' Digimon is the only one who can fight for some XYZ reason.
Yeah.
And then they get their big moment in the sun where they get to digivolve to their next form, the champion level, and defeat the bad Digimon of the week. And then they continue on their merry way.
And kind of giving everyone kind of their moment in the sun, and kind of
to further cement what kind of personality they have.
Yeah, making sure before we dive into anything too serious plot wise that we kind of know who everyone is and what they kind of stand for.
Yeah. So the first episode, the next episode 2 is called The Birth of Greymon, where we see Agumon digivolve to Greymon for the first time.
Yeah, and Agumon is Tai's partner.
Agumon is Tai's partner Digimon, and they are the protagonists and the leaders of their respective groups. Garurumon is the title of episode 3, where we see Matt and his Digimon Gabumon be the only ones who can save the rest of the kids, and Gabumon is afraid to get his fur wet to fight Seadramon, but then, what's a little stinky fur compared to a friend like Matt? So he digivolves to Garurumon and saves the day. So those 2 episodes, they were just fighting evil Digimon.
Yeah, that they just like came across like a very predator versus prey.
Yeah. In this next episode, Biyomon and Sora cement their relationship as kind of the mom friends of the group. And in episode 3, episode 4. Biyomon gets firepower. They come across a village of Digimon who are the in-training level form of Biyomon, Yokomon. And they are attacked by Meramon, who's a scary fireman.
Yeah, he's literally, and not like a fireman like on a fire truck with a hose, like a man made and engulfed in fire.
Yeah.
And also like 10 feet tall.
And we have seen him be infected by some kind of black gear that came out of the mountainside and struck Meramon.
Yeah, and it's literally like sticking out of his back.
Yeah, and it made him very angry. Yeah, and scary. But Biyomon and digivolves to Birdramon, and somehow her firepower is more powerful than Meramon's, probably because of her relationship with Sora or some anime shit.
They say fight fire with fire, and they really did it.
They were like fire with deep voiced women who are bird dragons.
Fire with fire, but from the sky.
Yeah. The next episode, Kabuterimon's Electroshocker. Same principle. Andromon, the normally benevolent guardian of a factory, attacks the kids when they're trapped in his factory because he's been infected by a black gear. But Izzy, with his computer know-how, unlocks Tentomon's Digivolution to Kabuterimon. And in this episode, Kabuterimon has a different voice.
Than the rest of the...
Yeah, it literally says, he sounds like Kabuterimon.
And then the rest of the...
He's like, Kabuterimon!
Yeah, he goes from, like, nerdy robot to, like, motocross announcer.
Yeah.
Real quick.
The next episode, we meet the iconic Togemon.
And the equally iconic... Well, we've met Mimi, but this episode
revolves around the legend icon, Mimi.
Yeah.
And Palmon. And they just girl boss all over this episode.
Yeah. Togemon's like a cactus, basically.
Yeah. Togemon said, like, butch lesbian rights.
Yeah.
Which we stand.
She's a real thorn in the enemy's side.
Yeah, she really is. My favorite part about Togemon is that she just kind of talks a lot of shit all the time. But we'll get to that in our tier list.
Okay.
Tier list is coming. So we also meet Manzemon, who is infected by the black gears and has captured all of the other children and forced them to be the things that the toys in Toy Town play with. But Mimi and her fan club, the Numamon, who are poop Digimon.
They are poop Digimon, and they come in hundreds.
Help save the day, and Palmon decides it's time to teach Manzemon some manners and digivolves into Togemon.
Yeah, and the Numamon are in love with Mimi.
They're in love
with
Mimi.
collectively.
Yeah, which, I mean, she's an icon.
She is.
She's the people's queen.
They try and frame her as like annoying spoiled girl, but it kind of just makes her more relatable.
Yeah.
She like spends a lot of time crying about like I want like a nice bath. I want like my mom to brush my hair, and I'm like, honestly, a mood.
Yeah. The next episode is Ikakumon's Harpoon Torpedo, in which Tai and Matt have a fight and fueled a lot of shipping, and Joe decides that it's time to step up and be the older kid like he's supposed to be and climb the mountain even though he's afraid, and it sounds too risky. And he's accompanied by Gomamon, and
Who's got jokes?
Who's got jokes? And they are quick to find that Unimon has been infected by a black gear, and Gomamon digivolves to Ikakumon,
Which is like a bigger
some
seal.
sort of super water mammal, as Joe later calls him.
Yeah, he's like a narwhal woolly mammoth hybrid.
Yeah, we'll talk more about him in our tier list.
Okay.
In the next episode, the next episode starts with all the kids having climbed this mountain to find that they are on an island.
Yeah.
Oh no. Turns out all of this stuff was not at their summer camp.
Yeah, they're in a completely different place.
Yeah, and they are attacked by Leomon, who is normally a very friendly Digimon.
Yeah, big Aslan energy.
Big Christ allegory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a lion.
Yeah. And Ogremon, who is not a Christ allegory, but is fun.
He's also not infected by a black gear. He's just...
Ogremon is just kind of a dick.
Yeah, which...
Big mood. Sometimes just gotta be. And they are both working for the villain Devimon. Leomon under mind control by the black gear, and Ogremon for power.
And Devimon is then revealed kind of, it's like a more overarching...
Devimon is not revealed to the children, but revealed to the audience watching.
Yeah, he's responsible for the black gears. He's the one who... He becomes less of a, like, who's the mean person attacking us this episode, and he's more of, like, the looming threat that carries over and kind of is the root of everything.
Which we've been seeing each episode in the theme song.
Yes, which is true.
And Devimon Devimon is also the first Digimon we see who is a villain that is not just like a mindless like monster.
Yeah, kill.
Devimon is calculating and lures the children into the first of many traps having to do with food and a warm place to stay.
Yeah.
And they are revealed. They escape the fight between Leomon and Ogremon by running away.
Yeah. Essentially. And like screaming.
And, like you do.
Yeah, big Land Before Time.
Yeah.
Gig.
Yeah. And they are lured into a hotel with the promise of food and a warm place to stay. And it has to be a good place because there's a giant portrait of an angel in the lobby.
What place of the Lord?
Which TK, the only one whose partner has not digivolved to their champion level yet.
And also the one he's Matt's younger brother, so he's younger than everyone else.
He's the youngest. Yeah, he's a little baby.
Little baby.
He's like 8, but is drawn like he's like 4.
He's supposed to be 8, but they make him seem like a toddler and also kind of helpless.
Which could be like a stylistic choice.
Yeah.
Digimon is a very stylized anime. It doesn't look like anything else, really. So Devimon has lured all the kids into a trap. They got food, they got a bath, they got a place to sleep, and all of it was fake.
Yeah, it was like... It's weird because it's like a mirage, but it's like tangible. Like they're actually like feel like they're eating food and they actually feel like they're in a comfortable bed.
It's all digital.
Yeah. Crazy. It's like a foreshadowing.
So Devimon splits apart the island, which it turns out is built upon black gears.
Yeah.
Apparently.
They never really...
Yeah, I don't know about that.
That seems... Fundamentally, that sounds structurally unsound, first of all.
And he also splits up all the children. Because how can they defeat him like they're prophesized to if they're all split up?
Yeah, because there's 8 beds.
8 beds.
8 beds.
But there's only 7 Digidestined.
Yeah.
What could it mean?
I don't know.
What could it mean?
And he like sends them all off like literally into the sky, and their beds just land like in the middle of the ocean and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, what do we do now?
So in the next chunk of episodes, now that we've had most of the kids Digimon be able to digivolve to champion, is about the kids and their Digimon reuniting and defeating a new monster of the week, which is allowing their chunk of island to move back towards the main island where Devimon is.
Yeah, a reverse Pangea, if you will.
Yeah.
Content will drift my ass.
This is not a podcast for kids, apparently.
No.
Despite us discussing a children's television show. This next episode is called Sub-Zero Ice Punch, where we see Matt and Tai reunite after Tai and Agumon free Frigimon.
A good friend.
A good friend from the Black Gear. And at this point, I would like to take a moment to say that I kind of wish that at least one friend Digimon they met in this journey was a woman.
Yeah, they're all men.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a Japanese thing, and like maybe because like
I mean maybe in the sub they're not all men.
Yeah, to me, well, they might be played by women, but still being like masked. To me, as someone who was a child,
you were?
I know, it's shocking. I was always told to like if you get lost or say transported to another world, find a trustworthy authority figure or find another mom.
Yeah.
Or, like, and, like, I mean, obviously women can be bad guys, women can be evil people, too, but women can also be good guys and also be friends. Like,
Yeah, also, like, they exist.
yeah.
And apparently not in the Digi world.
But I also think that this might be a case of, in the beginning, Digimon was made to be a masculine counterpart to Tamagotchi.
Yeah, I think so, too.
So a lot of the Digimon are more masculine.
It's also why out of the 7 kids, 5 of them are boys.
Yes. Oh, yes. So here we see Matt and Tai kind of have a conflict of ideals again, where Tai wants to find the others, and Matt only cares about finding TK, his brother.
Yeah.
And we also learn here for the first time that Matt and TK's parents are divorced.
Yeah.
And each of them live with one parent, which is not how co-parenting works.
Yeah, so this summer camp has been like / Digi World Adventure has been like the most time they spent together.
Yeah, which is kind of sad. We also see that Gabumon's fur is detachable.
Yeah, that's even more upsetting than the divorce. The divorce of Matt's parents is not as upsetting as the divorce of Gabumon's fur from his body.
It's not his fur, though. It's a fur. In the description of Gabumon in, like, the Digimon reference book or whatever, it's that Gabumon has, like, accumulated data from Garurumon to make himself feel, like, more cool.
Yeah, which is also, like, Garurumon's with them, so it's kind of like...
Well, Gabumon digivolves into Garurumon.
Yeah, but like...
So, anyway, they defeat Mojiamon, another Yeti-type Digimon, and free him from the Black Years, and then all of them they fix the island piece that they're on, and then they head their way back towards to Infinity Mountain, where Devimon is.
A lot of mountains.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's also like a Japanese thing.
Maybe.
There's like Mount Fuji and other stuff. I mean, mountains are everywhere, but...
Yeah, I think it also serves as an easy plot device in terms of like, it's an identifiable landmark, because it stands above everything, but it's also like, you can't just go there because it's really high up.
It's a mountain, yeah.
Yeah.
If you were wondering why this episode was called Sub-Zero Ice Punch, it's because that's Frigimon's attack.
Yeah, a lot of the names are the attacks.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
The next episode is called A Clue from the Digi Past, where we see, yet again, Mimi meets a poop-themed Digimon and friend who fall in love with her.
It's a recurring theme throughout the show that the Digimon fall in love with Mimi.
Yeah, and it's not...
'Cause you know why? It's a reflection of us as the audience falling in love with Mimi time and time again.
Yeah.
As she remains a relatable, divalicious diva.
We will talk more about Mimi and her girl bossing when we get to our tier list.
Yeah.
But Mimi and her partner Palmon escape from Sukamon and Chumon, who also come back later on. And they find Izzy in a ruins. In a clue from the Digi Past, Izzy and Mimi meet up. Like we said, Izzy is ignoring Mimi, which she does not like.
Yeah, because Izzy's a bit of a know-it-all.
Yeah, and she takes off into the labyrinth that they're outside of, and is followed by Tentomon, who is Izzy's Digimon.
Yeah.
And then Izzy is left with Palmon, who's Mimi's Digimon, and both of them kind of have philosophical discussion with the other.
It's almost like a come to Jesus moment.
It's not really. But we have a battle with Centarumon, who they free from the Black Year. And then Leomon comes. So Leomon's not dead. He got reinfected by Devimon in the Black Year. And we find out that this labyrinth is a temple to the Digivice. Mimi and Izzy's Digivices glow and, kind of make Leomon cower and run away. Mm-hmm. A cowardly lion, if you will. The next episode is called The Dancing Digimon, and we start off with Joe and Gomamon, who are adrift on their bed in the ocean, and they come across a crate that is hiding Ogremon, who is like, and like jumps out of the crate to attack them. Still being a dick. And Gomamon digivolves again to stop him, and then they escape, and Joe, on the back of Ikakumon, rides off into the sunset, like the true king that he is.
Yeah.
And but then Ikakumon gets tired and de-digivolves back into Gomamon, and Joe and Gomamon looks like they might drown. But they are saved by Sora and her fishing line.
Yeah, which is like, how long has she had a fishing line?
Her and Biomon were on the island and they were fishing.
Right.
For food.
Right.
And they caught Joe and Gomamon.
Yeah.
So then
Not food.
They team up, and Gomamon kind of tells Sora and Biomon that they need to make Joe the leader to kind of boost his confidence a little bit.
Oh.
Which is an interesting plan.
Yeah, it seems like a little manipulative.
Yeah, a little bit gaslight gatekeeping.
Yeah.
But you know what? Sora is here to Not girl boss as hard as Mimi, but still girl boss.
Gaslighting Joe into thinking he's the girl boss.
Yeah. But they are met by bigger gaslighters, these mysterious people at a church.
Yeah.
Wearing masks. Spooky.
Yeah.
Turns out...
I didn't realize they had COVID in the Digiverse, Digiworld too.
It's a virus. I'm sorry. Turns out these people are Bakuman in disguise. These ghost Digimon based off of a yokai who kind of take the shape of people.
They're kind of scary and silly at the same time.
They are camp.
They're scary because they're like menacing, like they are an actual threat, but they also their tongues stick out and they're kind of like bleh, 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 and you're like, okay, they're silly too. Yeah. That's my impression of.
So the Bakuman digivolve together. This is an example of fusion, kind of, where which we'll see in way later down the line in Digimon seasons, where the Bakuman just kind of form together to form a big Bakuman with scary blue hands. Biyomon and Gomamon were able to find food, and they save
Which gives them the power to digivolve.
Yeah, which is a recurring theme we've kind of seen.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would come up with more motivate, they can't digivolve because, food, it's raining or whatever.
No, well, because it's all based off of the Tamagotchi, where food and fighting were kind of, the way they digivolved.
That makes... Okay, I can see that then.
So then, Sora and Joe are back on their way to fight Devimon.
Yeah, their section, starts going towards the middle, so we're still waiting on...
TK and Patamon.
Yeah, where they at?
They crash land on what seems to be still part of the island that Devimon is on.
Yeah, and they're the babies, and they're alone.
Yeah, which was scary.
We did not plan that. We're so gay.
We're just in love. Ugh. And then they
find our love
village made entirely of plush toys and building blocks.
Yeah.
And the trees have baby toys on them as they're growing fruit that way.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch
distinct from the toy village.
Yeah. Also find a bunch of eggs when we find out that's where Digimon come from. They hatch from eggs.
Big Easter
They're
style
big
eggs.
Easter eggs decorated. And
polka dots and stuff.
All it takes, it turns out, is a little bit of a little casual rub, and they hatch. So TK and Patamon try to raise all these babies, but they're babies.
Yeah.
And they meet the protector of this village of primary Digimon.
Love of my life.
A primary village, if you will.
That's what it's called. It's called the primary village.
Yeah, it's called primary village. I thought that was obvious. They meet the protector of primary village, Elecmon, who is a sassy rabbit man.
He has such uncle energy, in the best way.
He's kind of grouchy, but he's still lovable.
Yeah, he has the energy of an uncle from Queens, where the neighborhood around him has grown and outpriced him, but he's got rent control, so he's still living there, and he hates all the gentrified hipsters who live around him. But he's still a goofy guy, and he's still helps people out when they need it. He's the local handyman. I have such a headcanon about Elecmon because I really find him so entertaining.
I don't think we see, because some in the second season is related to the first, and so a lot of characters recur, Andromon.
Don't tell me he doesn't come back.
I don't know if he does.
That makes me...
We see other Elecmon.
He kind of talks like this, too. Yeah. A little bit.
So he's big mad at TK and Patamon for kind of interfering with his duties and upsetting his babies.
Which, yeah, fair enough.
And so him and Patamon have a tug-of-war, but is also framed like a sumo wrestling match.
Right, yeah.
And it looks like Patamon might digivolve.
Yeah, finally, because remember, he's the only one who hasn't yet.
That's not it.
No, he's too
And this episode kind of ends with what looks like Leomon and Ogremon might attack the primary village.
Yeah.
But the next episode starts where the day is saved by the appearance of Matt, Tai, Sora, Mimi, Joe, and Izzy and their Digimon. And they have all digivolved to their champion forms, and they fight off Leomon and they free him from the Black Gear.
A second time.
Second time. This is the last time they free him from the Black Gear.
Yeah, thank God.
Leomon sits them down and tells them the legend of the Digidestined, which is where we find out that that's who these kids are. They are the Digidestined, prophesized to save the digital world.
Yeah, just appear out of nowhere and kick some ass.
Which, work.
Yeah.
So here we have the kids confront Devimon
on Infinity Mountain?
On Infinity Mountain.
Yeah.
And it's not going well.
Yeah.
None of their champion level Digimon can defeat Devimon. And Devimon has heard in this prophecy that the youngest shall defeat him. Mm-hmm. So he's gonna kill TK. And Patamon is Don't love that.
No.
And
Do
so
not stand.
Patamon,
Do not pass
despite
go.
his little tiny boom bubble, not really... That's his attack.
Yeah,
boom
it's
bubble.
like it's called like yeah.
And he tries to save Devimon.
Trying to save TK.
TK from Devimon. Wow. Patamon, with his little tiny boom bubble, tries to save TK from Devimon.
But he can't because he's
But he
a
can't,
little
'cause
baby.
he's a little baby.
Little
But
baby man.
TK,
Little baby man.
This is the moment where Patamon finally digivolves to Angemon. And oh no, he's hot!
Oh no. Because what's the opposite of a Devimon? An Angemon.
Yeah. And
That
so...
could be your devil or your angel.
Yeah. So...
Very good, Michael.
Thank you. We're tired. So with his Hand of Fate attack,
It's just a punch.
It's a laser punch.
Yeah.
Angemon defeats Devimon, but all of his energy was put into defeating Devimon, so he is reborn and is a Digi-Egg.
Yeah. Not even like as Patamon. He's like all the way back.
So now the kids are leaving File Island because they got a message from a mysterious figure named Jedi,
Who's like humanoid.
who's humanoid-ish.
Yeah, he's
But
like
looks
old
like an
man
old
looking.
man.
Yeah.
And they
Also, was
don't-
very confused.
Yeah, they don't see him right away. It's a hologram of him.
Yeah.
They are told that they have their next step in their quest to not only get home but to save the digital world is to find the tags and crests on the continent of Server, which means they gotta sail across this ocean.
And it means that we're going to enter the second arc.
Yeah.
But before we do, I just want to mention one thing from the first arc, because I couldn't remember what episode it was in. And
We have one more episode left of the first arc.
Oh, oops. We're going to keep going.
Departure for a new continent sees the kids building a raft to get to Server.
Yes.
And they are helped by all of the friends that they've met on the island so far.
Everyone they fleed from with the black
So we
years.
see Meramon, Frigimon, Leomon, the Yokomon,
Monsemon?
Manzemon, all of them come back to help build the
Yeah.
raft. And they set off. But their raft is destroyed by a giant Digimon on the ocean called Waymon.
Yeah. On the way.
On the way to Server, they encounter Waymon, who looks like a whale. It's like Whalemon, but it,
Yeah.
why put the LE in there?
Yeah.
They free Waymon from a black gear after he swallows them. So there was one remaining black gear left, apparently. And Waymon takes to an underwater convenience store where the tags and crests are located, because apparently that's where Devimon hid them.
Okay.
Well, not the crests, just the tags.
Yeah. The tags like that, the crest will
The
fill
tags,
into.
the tags are like where the crests are held.
Yeah. It's like a lanyard
Yeah, it is. It's pretty much a lanyard for their
for that Comic-Con pass.
Yeah, it's their all weekend pass. And so Waymon is a great character.
He is a good boy.
Yeah.
Once they free him.
Once they free him, he's great. And Waymon takes them the rest of the way to Server.
Yeah, because he's a good boy.
And that's where we start the second arc,
Yeah.
which we meet the main villain right away
Yes.
of this arc in the dark network of Edamon.
Yeah.
Where, once again, we had a hatching of the Digi-Egg
Yeah.
to Poyomon.
Yeah. TK's Digi-Egg.
Who looks a little bit like a little baby. Little baby jellyfish.
Uh-huh.
And then once they get to Server and say goodbye to Waymon, there's a Koromon village that they're supposed to go to. Koromon is the in-training form of Agumon, Tai's partner. So they think it's all gonna be great. Until they get to the village and it's filled with Pagumon, who are apparently mischief-making Digimon. And the Pagumon are evil, and they've lured the kids into a trap with the promise of a bath, food, and a place to sleep.
Yeah. Which is, again, these kids, like, I get that they're kids and they just, like, food is what they want and what they need. But, like, they always just fall for, like, this perfect, beautiful, presented meal in the middle of nowhere in a world that clearly has, like, no... Like, this is the world, it's all, like, jungles and like deserts and like ocean. It's not like cities. It's not like there's not like some like little, there's not like big buildings and like economy. So they should at this point realize that there's no such thing as like a restaurant in the middle of nothing.
Well,
although later on there is a restaurant in the middle of nothing. So maybe I should shut my damn mouth.
Well, they meet Edamon, who is a silly monkey puppet Digimon who
Talks like Elvis.
Talks like Elvis.
It's Elvis.
And his dark network has connected him to the entire continent of Server and prevents Agumon and Gabumon from digivolving into Greymon and Garurumon.
Yeah, kind of handicaps them.
And they find the Koromon, who were captured by the Pagumon, who are working for Edamon, and Poyomon digivolves to Tokomon.
Yeah.
And they find the first crest, Ty's Crest of Courage.
Also, there's a moment I want to bring up that I promised earlier, and I don't want the audience to feel left out.
It's bold to assume that people will listen to this.
There's one moment, I don't remember what episode it's in, but there's one moment that I really love, and it's one of my favorite things in the entire show, and it's completely unintentional. There's a moment where Matt is, like, running after something or someone.
Oh,
and
this is in the Devimon arc.
Yeah, I thought so. And it cuts to him, and he's like running across like a green background. He runs like left to right across the screen, and it's like a close up, and he like gets closer as he runs. So he runs off screen, and then there's another shot, and it's the same shot just sped up, and then there's another shot, and it's the same shot sped up even more.
Yeah,
so it just loops faster and faster to show him like running, but it's so blatantly obvious because the background does not move. It's just like a watercolor background, and it makes me laugh every time. I really enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's a good time. It kind of shows the budget they were working with. It makes it very it's very charming, and it's like 1999-ness.
So the next episode is called The Arrival of Skull Greymon. Now that Ty has found his crest of courage, he thinks it's about time to get down to business and have Greymon be able to digivolve further into his next level. We see Ty be more aggressive, force-feeding Agumon, forcing himself into a dangerous situation where the kids like encounter Edamon, because his theory is that in order for the Digimon to digivolve, they have to be well-fed.
Which is kind of true.
And the kids have to be in danger.
Also kind of true.
Kind of true, but I feel like he's missing some key components there.
Yeah.
What instead happens is because of Ty's negative vibes, Greymon dark digivolves to Skull Greymon.
Which is not what we want.
No, big bad. Skull Greymon destroys this coliseum that they're in where they've been fighting Edamon, and I think they were lured there by a soccer field.
Yeah.
Because soccer is a recurring motif in Digimon Adventure.
Yeah, well, Ty plays soccer.
Ty and Sora play soccer.
Yeah, that's like their personality.
We see Skull Greymon destroy this coliseum that they were in, seriously injure Birdramon, Garurumon, and Kabuterimon.
Yeah, so not only is he like going berserk and like rogue, but he's super powerful.
Yeah.
He's like kicking everyone's ass.
The kids escape through a hidey hole that they found.
Yeah.
Which also contains Matt and Joe's crests.
Yeah, which like nice of Edamon to lure them to there.
Yeah.
Real swell guy.
Skull Greymon finally gets exhausted and de-digivolves all the way back to Koromon. Now we have a problem where Tai is afraid for Agumon to digivolve and lose his lovable personality and become the evil Skull Greymon again.
Yeah, which is big skeleton.
Yeah. So now the kids are walking through the desert, and once again they are walking and they are lured into a trap aboard a giant cruise ship in the middle of the desert.
Yeah, where there's no other people.
By the evil Kakatorimon, who is a giant chicken based off of cockatrice, who is also working for Edamon.
Yeah.
And Kakatorimon lures them all into the cruise ship, and then it turns out that he is able to turn people in Digimon to stone.
Yeah, Kakatorimon's interesting.
Yeah.
He's kind of silly.
He is very silly in the episode, but also terrifying because he literally turns everyone to stone except for the girls.
Yeah.
This is the girl boss episode.
It's Sora and Mimi take on the world.
Yeah, Sora and Mimi defeat Kakatorimon, and Mimi, despite having a, divalicious moment, she finds her crest, the crest of sincerity, on top of a giant cactus.
Did we mention what Matt and Joe's crests are?
Matt and Joe, Matt has the crest of friendship, and Joe has the crest of reliability.
Yeah, which is funny, because Matt, kind of a bad friend.
The next episode is called The Piximon Cometh, where the kids meet the wise, sage Piximon, who is going to train them to be the Digidestined.
Piximon is like an orb with wings and feet.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like, hey. I don't trust him.
Okay. I feel like you just racially profiled Piximon. But anyway, Tai and Agumon go on this kind of emotional journey in this episode where Koromon digivolves back to Agumon, and the kids hide inside Piximon's like pocket dimension from Edamon. But Edamon finds them, and then they have to digivolve again to save Piximon from Edamon.
I'm not thinking of Piximon. I'm thinking of Devimon.
Yes. Piximon is also an orb with wings wings and feet, though, so you weren't far off.
Yeah. I take back what I said. I love Pixie-mon. I'm sorry. He's a good man with he has like a little staff, doesn't he?
Yeah. The next episode is called The Prisoner of the Pyramid, where the Digidestined get a distress signal from somebody. I think we've also now updated Izzy's computer to have a Digimon analyzer. Yes.
Yeah.
Jenai, way back in the episode
right before
Departure for a New Continent, updates Izzy's computer to have a Digimon analyzer where he is able to kind of upload the data of any Digimon that any one of the kids have seen from their Digivice to get more information about them.
Yeah. It kind of functions like a Pokédex if you need help understanding it.
Yeah. So the next episode, the kids get is called The Prisoner of the Pyramid, where the kids get a distress signal that Edamon is holding someone captive at a pyramid. So they're going to go rescue them.
This is one of my favorite episodes, too.
It's a trap, but actually like a good trap this time.
Yeah, like it appeals to their heart and not their stomach.
Where the kids are lured into this trap and Datamon kidnaps Sora.
Yeah, this is like a compelling villain, a compelling motivation, a harrowing situation.
He is going to clone Sora and use her crest of love to help himself digivolve to fight Edamon. Because Edamon wronged him some way in the past and he's bitter.
Yeah, but he's also not on their side. Mm-hmm. He's like, it's like evil versus evil.
Yeah. So Tai is still kind of freaked out about the whole situation with Skull Greymon. Mm-hmm. And things are not looking good for the children. But Tai, also kind of fueled by this knowledge that Izzy has discovered that the digital world is linked to, but also a separate dimension from the human world. So Tai kind of feels like, oh, it's like a video game. Mm-hmm. And his hubris comes back again, and things are not looking good. And he has to go through this wall where he could get seriously hurt. It's like an electric fence almost.
Yeah.
And he's afraid, but through a moment of true courage, when he has to save Sora, he is able to pass through this wall to rescue Sora and unlock his crest of courage, which allows Greymon to digivolve into Metal Greymon for the first time.
How did that work? Was it like you had to believe, or was it like certain parts of the fence were electrocuted and other parts weren't?
There were certain points through the fence that were passable and other parts that weren't.
Yeah, and and Tai just had to go with his gut basically and guess where it was
He had to
passable.
trust himself and be brave to do it. So there is a battle between a super-powered Edamon who has fused with his dark network cables and defeated... he has not defeated Datamon.
No.
But Metal Greymon defeats Edamon, and Edamon drags Datamon into this pit of darkness that we don't see. We don't see if he dies.
Yeah, he kind of just disappears.
And the force of this kind of destruction has all the other kids running away, and Tai and Metal Greymon are sent back to the human world.
Which is crazy.
Crazy. They're so confused. Now, this next episode is called Home Away from Home. And it's a different art style. It is what I'm assuming is a different director as I look it up right now. Because, some of us, not me, were prepared for this. We love scrolling. We're doing it live. This episode was directed by Mamoru Hosoda and written by Reiko Yoshida. Aired August 1st, 1999, which is apparently the date that this adventure started.
Yeah.
And aired on October 16th in America. Tai and Koromon arrive home where they meet Tai's younger sister Kari, and also learn that not much time has passed since they were in the digital world. Later, Tai gets a message from Izzy telling him not to return, and he discovers that Digimon are appearing in the real world. He concludes that they must return to the digital world and help their friends. After Koromon digivolves to Agumon to battle an Ogremon, so not the same Ogremon that we saw before, but
a different one.
Definitely threatening. A portal opens and transports both of them back to the digital world, and they have to leave behind Kari, who wants to go with them at first, but then realizes that Tai has got to do this by himself.
Yeah.
This episode I always found weird.
Yeah. I mean, where it's just kind of a transition between the two arcs, I feel like.
I know that there's been some stuff in the past, and maybe I'll bring this up once I do more research on it for a future episode, where the guy who directed this episode kind of wanted Tai and Kari to seem like a married couple, but they are brother and sister. So
and Kari's the same age as TK.
Yeah, she's Whittle and more defenseless than TK.
Yeah, she's I don't want to say naive, but she's very, like, sweet and innocent.
Yeah. So that's the end of the Edamon arc.
Yeah.
Tai has returned to the digital world and now has to find where all of his friends are located.
Yeah, and also to tell him that for some reason he got sent back.
Mm-hmm. And to tell him what's happening in the real world.
Yeah, how it's the same day.
But we have come to the hour mark of our first podcast episode.
Yeah, and Audacity is starting to get wobbly.
Our recording is starting to get wobbly. This is like the second or third time we've recorded this.
Yeah, so
and it was still just as chaotic.
So we're going to take a pause here.
We're going to pause and we're going to come back for the best arc of Digimon Adventure, Myotismon.
You think it's the best arc?
It is the best arc.
Interesting.
And we'll have more discussions, and we will see you next time.
Yes.
We won't see you because this is an audio format.
Maybe we'll see them.
Maybe we will. I don't know.
Yeah.
If you guys could like come.
Maybe like Elon Musk will invent some like visual podcast.
Muskmon.
The parasocial relationship between content creators and their listeners.
All right. Anyway, so Elon Musk definitely a Digimon villain.
Yeah. Grimes.
Grimes is a Digimon.
She's a Digimon.
She is. Anyway,
that's why they named their kid that, because it's like a digital.
We're signing off now. We'll post about socials when we make them.
Yeah, we'll figure stuff out.
And we will talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Prodigious.
Outro music. Outro music. Outro music. Yeah. Outro.